Drive Time on RTE Radio 1 with Sarah McInerney and Cormac O'Hara.
Welcome back to Drive Time. Now, many workers, particularly women, parents and the under 35s, are apparently feeling more stressed because of the return to office policies in their workplaces. New research suggests around a third of workers are feeling at least some pressure to work in the office more often. Let's tease some of this out now with Dr. Sarah Kieran, Associate Professor in Work and Employment Studies in the Kemi Business School at the University of Limerick. Thanks for speaking with us today, Dr. Kieran. Are you surprised in general that people are finding the big return to the office so stressful, bearing in mind there are a lot of people who never left the office, never left the service industry and other jobs they were working in? But for those office workers who during the pandemic moved home, that they're finding a stress at going back into a formal workplace.
Thank you. No, it's not surprising at all. I think when you think back, we're 5 years into the social experiment now. We all reorganised ourselves to keep work going during the pandemic, and we ended up reconfiguring our lives in ways that are not easily undone now that we start to consider returning to the office. So no, it's not surprising. It's stressful.
Now, this survey, which is by Irish Life Insurance, they surveyed 1,000 people nationally, and it suggests that women feel the stress of returning to the office more. Do you believe, in your experience, that this is a sort of a gendered issue? They also point to parents now in the under 35s, but what does your own research in this area show?
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of research in the Work Futures Lab here in the Kemi Business School about this. In fact, predating the pandemic, we were looking at hybrid working, and there's a lot of things going on, and it's not just women, it's not just under 35s, it's not just parents, it's everybody that's engaged in this process, and everybody has stress from different aspects of it. What's really interesting to know is there's a lot of work-related stress, full stop. So wherever the causes are coming from that, there is a lot of work-related stress. Leaders suffer a lot from stress and burnout. And what's interesting, just taking one of the factors, younger people, there's a lot of myths around younger people that they want to stay at home and work. In fact, some of the stressors are coming because they're not in the office. So it's the stress about how they want to return to the office and engage in learning and career development and just personal growth in the office. It's a myth to say that all young people want to work at home. There's also really interesting factors about men and women and the fact that it is becoming less gendered. In our most recent research around working from home versus the office and engaging in hybrid work models, we found a lot of men talking like women, if I can use that phrase. They were expressing concerns that women have been expressing for years. And there's a lot of social things going on there. We now have often two people working in the household rather than one, two people looking to advance their careers. So we're trying to look at dual career households and how everybody can stay ahead rather than one person stay ahead.
Also, perhaps what you're pointing to there is a new understanding, and the more you have maybe both parents staying at home, they'll understand, I suppose, the workload that goes with being at home and working. And I hate to use the phrase, but the big juggle. And maybe there's a greater understanding of that. But I mean,
there, what's the men talking about like women? What does that mean?
It means that
if I can jump in.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It means that men, I know we could spend an hour on this now, but I probably don't have it. Don't get me started, Cormac. But what it really means is that men are saying things like, I have children. I have 3 children. These are their ages.
Yeah.
But it's not just about them talking about their children. It's the life stage of the family. And they're saying things like, well, when my children are older, I might do X, Y, and Z in work.
You said men never said that before.
Not as much,
really?
no.
Or maybe not in a work environment. That it's coming more, and maybe that question of work-life balance is now, as much a story for men as it is for women.
And work-life balance is a bigger story for all of us now because mental health is a bigger story for all of us. We didn't talk about mental health 20 years ago, and we have all made a big effort as a society to understand mental health, to understand stress, and we've educated our children around their mental health, which was a very good thing to do. And now a lot of people are putting their hands up saying, I'm suffering from work-related stress. I have mental health issues because of the way I've organised my life. But that's not to say we shouldn't return to work.
Yeah.
That's not to say that we don't need people in offices.
I'm wondering, when you're saying that, is there a good way for organisations to navigate all of this? Because from what you're saying, it's not clear cut that, because they're stressed that workers want to stay at home. They actually maybe do want to go back into workplace, but they're just nervous about how they'll navigate all of that. I mean, what can organisations do on that front if they do want to get people back into the office and happily?
It's not a clear way forward. So we have this great social experiment, and now we tend to see some organisations go to the extremes. Some of them are not calling people back at all, or they might be devising very common practices, 3 days in the office, 2 days at home, but they're not enforcing it because they're nervous that they might lose good staff. And then you, on the flip side, have some organisations where are saying everybody's back. We're on site 5 days a week. Now, neither scenario is good. I think in society today, there's a very strong place for a hybrid work model because of families, because of our mental health, because of quality of life, which is much more meaningful to us. Organisations need to develop clear frames for themselves whereby they will bring staff back, but they have to have a reason to come back. There has to be meaning and purpose to it. And they also may need to acknowledge they will lose some staff when they do that.
Yeah, lots of good advice there on planning for that return.